This is not the first time.
Are you saying that you have killed before?
Yes.
How many times, Miranda? If you had to take a guess, what would you say?
If I had to take a guess, I know that when I hit 22, I stopped counting.
In the heart of Pennsylvania lies a quiet town where life seems ordinary, where neighbors greet each other in passing, and crimes rarely make national headlines. But in November of 2013, that peace was shattered. What began as a seemingly simple meeting, a man answering an online ad, turned into something far darker. A man stepped into a car one night, and he never walked out again. This wasn't a random act of violence. It was a carefully laid trap, planned and executed by a young couple who appeared harmless to the outside world. Miranda Barbour, just 18 years old, and her new husband, Elytte, only 22, seemed like any other young lovers starting their lives together. But behind their smiles was a darkness so chilling that it would soon grip the entire country. This is the story of betrayal, manipulation, and a confession that shook America to its core. The deadly encounter. On November 11, 2013, 42-year-old Troy LaFerrara was looking for companionship. Like many others in the digital age, he turned to Craigslist. A simple ad caught his eye, one placed by Miranda Barbour. To Troy, it must have seemed harmless, maybe even exciting. He could not have known that the moment he stepped into that car, his fate was already sealed. Miranda, with her youthful face and calm demeanor, appeared trustworthy. She picked Troy up in her car, and he settled into the passenger seat. But hidden in the back seat was Elytte, her husband, crouched down and waiting. The plan was simple but sinister. Lure a man with an ad, trap him in the car, and kill him. As the car moved through the streets, Troy might have thought he was beginning a casual evening. But within minutes, he realized something was wrong. Elytte suddenly emerged from the back seat, wrapping a cord around Troy's neck, while Miranda pulled out a knife. In a matter of moments, the evening turned into a nightmare. Troy fought desperately, but he stood no chance against the couple. The attack was swift, brutal, and fatal. When the body was later discovered, the small town was left in disbelief. A man who had simply answered an online ad had been murdered in cold blood. But as investigators would soon learn, this was just the beginning of the darkness surrounding Miranda Barbour. Behind closed doors, the Barbours' secret to outsiders, Miranda and Elytte Barbour seemed like any ordinary newlyweds. They had married just weeks before the killing. Their pictures showed them smiling, embracing, living a life filled with the hope and dreams of young love. But beneath that image lay a twisted reality. Elytte later confessed that he and Miranda had talked about killing someone together, even before they got married. It wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was something they fantasized about, something they planned. Elytte admitted that he wanted to experience the thrill of killing, to bond with Miranda in the most sinister way possible. For them, it was a shared secret, a dark connection hidden beneath the surface of their marriage. Miranda's role was to lure the victim, using her age and appearance as bait. Elytte would then carry out the physical attack. But in Troy's case, Miranda herself stabbed him repeatedly while Elytte held him down. It was an act that was both premeditated and disturbingly intimate, a ritual of violence that cemented their twisted bond. When the police dug deeper into the couple's life, they were horrified by what they uncovered. Miranda was not only complicit, she was at the center of it all, and soon she would reveal even more terrifying claims. the murder of Troy LaFerrara. The murder itself was both chaotic and calculated. According to court records, Miranda stabbed Troy over 20 times, her knife plunging into his chest and torso, while Elytte strangled him. The sheer brutality shocked investigators. After the killing, the couple didn't panic. Instead, they calmly drove Troy's body to an alley in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, and dumped him like garbage. They wiped down the car to remove evidence, went out for dinner, and continued their evening as if nothing had happened. For them, it was supposed to be a shared adventure, a twisted experience they could cherish as part of their young marriage. Elytte would later tell police that killing someone was part of their plan all along, something he wanted to do with Miranda to make their relationship stronger. But the investigation was swift. Within days, police connected Miranda to the victim through Craigslist communications. She was arrested, and the mask of innocence she had worn began to slip. What she told investigators next would shock not just the police, but the entire nation. The confession, claims of a serial killer. In the interrogation room, Miranda didn't just admit to killing Troy LaFerrara. She went further, much further. She claimed that she had killed before, not once, not twice, but dozens of times. She told investigators she had been killing since she was 13 years old. According to her story, she was recruited into a satanic cult, where she learned to lure and kill people. She said she murdered over 22 victims across the country, luring them online or meeting them in person, and that her move to Pennsylvania was just another step in her long trail of blood. The media quickly dubbed her the Craigslist Killer. Headlines exploded with the shocking claim that an 18-year-old girl could be a serial killer with more than 20 murders to her name. The nation was captivated and horrified, but there was a problem. None of her claims could be proven. Investigators searched records, databases, and missing person reports, but they could not find evidence linking Miranda to other killings. While she insisted she had killed dozens, the police concluded it was likely a lie, an attempt to shock, manipulate, or make herself appear more dangerous than she really was. Still, the very idea that such a young woman could even fabricate such a story left the public unsettled. Was she telling the truth? Or was she weaving a web of lies for attention? Either way, her words ensured her place in the dark history of American true crime. The investigation and the truth. As the case moved forward, investigators focused on the one murder they could prove: the brutal killing of Troy LaFerrara. The evidence was undeniable. Miranda's car contained traces of Troy's blood, and Elitte's confession confirmed the events of that night. In court, the couple's bond began to fracture. Elytte admitted to his role but shifted blame toward Miranda, insisting she was the one who actually carried out the stabbing. Miranda, meanwhile, tried to downplay her involvement, even as her earlier confessions painted her as the central figure. The claims of satanic cults and serial killings were dismissed as fabrications, but they left a lasting stain on Miranda's reputation. The prosecution focused on what they could prove beyond doubt: that together, Miranda and Elytte had lured and killed an innocent man for no reason other than their own twisted desires. The truth was horrifying enough without the added tales. A man was dead, a family was shattered, and 2 young lives were revealed to be far darker than anyone could have imagined. Justice and aftermath. In 2014, Miranda Barbour pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Elytte received the same punishment. Neither would ever walk free again. The courtroom was filled with grief and anger as Troy's family listened to the details of his final moments. They spoke about the pain of losing a loved one to such senseless violence. No sentence could bring him back, but at least the killers would never harm anyone else. Behind bars, Miranda's story faded from the headlines. The claims of her being a serial killer were never proven, and most experts concluded they were fabrications. But the brutality of Troy's murder ensured that she and Elytte would always be remembered as symbols of betrayal and darkness. For the town of Sunbury, the case left scars that would never fully heal. A quiet community had been shaken by an act of unimaginable cruelty. And for America, it was a reminder that evil can sometimes hide behind the most innocent faces. Conclusion: a smile behind the darkness. Miranda and Elytte Barbour appeared to be just another young couple, full of love and promise. But behind their smiles was something far darker. What happened on that November night was not just a murder. It was an ultimate act of betrayal. A man looking for companionship instead found death. A family lost a loved one. And a community learned that evil can lurk even in the quietest of places. Miranda Barbour may not have been the serial killer she claimed to be, but the story of Troy LaFerrara's murder remains one of the most chilling reminders of what happens when desire, manipulation, and darkness collide.